Okay, bear with me. I'm going to take us on what might seem a very convoluted trip at the beginning, but hopefully by the time I get to the end it will make some sense. Banzaitron. Let me set this up first. Okay, so when I got this guy several months ago from a private collector, came loose, he was in his robot mode, and I have to tell you the instructions from last year are horrible. That coupled with the unfortunate problem, quality control problems that I think some of the BotCon figures do have. I know several of the ones from this year that I have, you move an arm a tiniest little fraction of a millimeter in the wrong direction, it pops off. So I'm trying to transform this guy. The pictures are too small. I can't make any details out. Arms keep popping off. These pieces here that become the little wings on the back kept falling off, and I just got really frustrated. So I just, put him back as robot mode, put him on the shelf. Haven't touched him since. And then I was watching Damn You Hussies series on color schemes, and how they're worked, how they're perceived within the Transformer myths, toy line, etc. And he was talking about Constructicon green and how green and purple is a very common Decepticon color scheme. And for some strange reason, my eyes went straight to this guy. And so I pulled him down, and I was like, this mold has intrigued me for a very long time. It's the only version of this mold that I have. And the character has intrigued me, more so lately because the new Hunt for the Decepticon one was coming out. And so I was like, you know what, I'm going to sit down and we'll figure this out. I'm not going to be an idiot like last time, and I'm going to actually look at some videos, reviews of this guy, to figure out, what am I doing wrong, what do I need to do, and lo and behold, he's finally in his boat mode. So again, thinking about color schemes, this purple and green, as has been said, it is a very common color scheme to be used. That's primarily because you've got two secondary colors that contrast with each other very well, and actually all three secondary colors because you got that orange right there. Yeah, and they all work together very well. Part of the color theory that I teach my kids on a regular basis, and for some reason they really like secondary colors. So the way that those colors work together as a group seem to really catch people's eyes. And that's probably why we see this color scheme on a lot of figures. Now, I have no idea what brought me to this journey I'm fixing to take us on, but suddenly, in my head, popped an image of Tarantulus, Beast Wars Tarantulus. And you really have to look at the 10th anniversary one, because that one's more show accurate and uses the same secondary color scheme that is used on this character. And so, let's look at that character, and that's like, let me look at his transmetal version. Hey, well, there's some blue on there, but it's got the purple, and it's got the orange, and it's got the green as well, even more green on that one. It's like, oh, what a coincidence. And, so I'm on TF Wiki and TF Info, and looking at these pictures, and then I start looking into the background, and that's what has, again, I don't know what brought me to Tarantulus, other than possibly the color scheme. But then I start looking at the character information, the background, and I'm going to pose this theory here, that, this is just what popped into my head, that Banzaitron and Beast Wars Tarantulus are in some way related. Now, my first thought was, let me get this. The toy bio, the original toy bio for Tarantulus, he's a martial arts expert, a ninja. He isn't described in his original toy bio as being part of the Predacon secret police, but of course then later on his Beast Wars information we find out that he is. He shares a lot of similarities, personality-wise, character background-wise, to Banzaitron. And then that's what got me thinking about this. He is allied to Megatron, but he operates on his own. He skirts around Megatron a lot. And Megatron doesn't have any isn't really clued in on a lot of the stuff Tarantulus is doing. Banzaitron is very much the same. He's a martial arts expert. The name of it, the Transformer martial arts, that is something that eludes me. Crystal, blah blah blah. I can't. For some reason, it just totally left my brain. And he is a member of the Decepticon Secret Police, potentially the head of the Secret Police. So again, leads me down this road. So then I start thinking, well, maybe Tarantulus is Banzaitron reformatted. Okay, and now that's an interesting idea. That would make for an interesting twist in the fluff, or the mythos of the Transformer universe. I mean, it's not unheard of. We had Ravage, G1 Ravage reformatted and still around during the Beast Wars. And they do mention that there are many Decepticons out there granted amnesty and out there still running around in the universe. So, I mean, it could potentially be. Of course, none of this really exists in any of these storylines, but this is just my interpretation. But then I start thinking, but wait a minute. Okay, Tarantulus is an agent of the Tripedicus Council, which is kind of the Predacon Secret Police. If he was Banzaitron and Banzaitron was supposed to be the head of the Decepticon, it wouldn't make sense for him to be a lackey, to be an agent that they would be sending out. So then I started thinking, okay, well, maybe not. But then I thought, wait a minute, Razor Sharp. Razor Sharp was a crab, but still, his crab body has a kind of an arachnid, look to it. So I thought, well, maybe Tarantulus is Razor Sharp reformatted. So perhaps Tarantulus is a protege of Banzaitron. So then I was like, okay, well then where's Banzaitron? So then I go back, I watch Beast Wars The Agenda Part 1, where we get to see this glimpse of the Tripedicus Council. And there's one of the three that has definitely, a little bit different, but has a head design that is reminiscent, in my opinion, of Banzaitron. I mean, it's changed up a little bit, but it definitely has a samurai helmet appearance to it. Now, we never get any names. We don't see any color in that character because there's just that red light and shadows. So now I'm thinking, well, maybe Banzaitron is still kicking around. Maybe Banzaitron is part of the Tripedicus Council. Maybe Tarantulus is Razor Sharp reformatted. Maybe I'm grasping at straws. I don't know. This is just how my brain works sometimes when I'm thinking about storylines. And I don't know a lot of the storyline from the comics about Banzaitron. And I still haven't pieced in, how it would be that Tarantulus thinks that destroying the G1 Decepticons and Autobots during the Beast Wars would get rid of the Predacons and the Autobots, but Tarantulus and his people would still be around. There's that whole spawn of Unicron thing. So I started looking up stuff on Action Masters and finding the nucleon energy and how that leads into the Action Masters. But again, I can't quite draw a line to that because if no Autobots, no Decepticons, then depending upon which storyline you follow, there's no Grimlock or Prime to find the nucleon. So I haven't quite figured that part out. But it's just the way my head thinks about the story. So I just decided to put it out there. Again, I could be grasping at straws. I could be just, wild, fanciful imagination, or I could be starting a dirty little internet secret. Adding something to the storyline. So that's my thinking. I set out to review this figure, and instead I kind of rewrite or add to his storyline, to his history. Or maybe uncover something that has never been explained or divulged by the powers that be in the Transformers literature. So, anyways, I just thought I'd make a little video. Put that out there and see what you guys think. I don't have either one of the Tarantulus figures. So I couldn't really put this guy up to one of them to compare them. As far as mold, there's no similarities. The only similarity toy-wise is the color scheme. You really have to look at the story, the background, and then kind of, let your imagination go from there. I mean, it kind of makes sense. It kind of makes sense. Banzaitron's still kicking around during Beast Wars, part of the Tripedicus Council. Razor Shark gets reformatted into Tarantulus. Tarantulus is the agent that is sent, that Banzaitron sends to follow Beast Wars Megatron and try to, accomplish this agenda that the Tripedicus Council has. Interesting thought. So, leave me a comment. Let me know what you think about that idea. Is it cool? Is it not? Whatever. Now I'm babbling. This whole 15-minute thing, not having to worry about 10 minutes is going to mess with my little brain, because the way I babble sometimes, I'm going to get myself in trouble here. So I'm going to stop here before I babble anymore. And if you want to see any reviews, definitely you got to go check out my buddy Eros1 Dennis. He's got a very good, it's one of his early reviews. I'll just mention a little plug for him. He recently made Partner, so go watch it. Click on the ad, help my butt out. So thanks for watching. Look forward to your comments. We'll talk to you later. Bye.